Hey guys, let's take a look at the new first-person controller and collision detection and what you need to do to get all that set up. I've uploaded a model called House on a Hill, which I grabbed from Sketchfab, and as you can see, it's this giant model, and it's well, I don't have any waypoints set, so we're kind of just way out on the outskirts of things. So what I want to do is I want to zoom in and set up scale first of all, and then show you how to set up the first-person controller. So what I'm going to do initially is I'm going to change my target, because right now we're orbiting around this target, which is in the center of the model. And so what I want to do is just kind of bring this down towards the house area. So we're orbiting more around the house because I need to get a real world object, and I know that there is a door on this house. So that's probably, let's go down a bit. There we go. And I'll turn this off, and you can see I'm ducking out of the way because my camera is in the way of that drop down. There we go. So let's start zooming in. You can tell right away that this thing's huge, right? Because we ain't moving very fast. It's a good thing that we accelerate as we get closer to it, however. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the door on this house, which is here. And if I go into edit and start editing the House on the Hill via the Content Explorer, there's the scaling here. So right now we got one world unit is 1 meter. I think that's kind of a bit off. So if I go to this door and I measure from here to the bottom, which is usually 1.6 meters, you can see that it's registering as 79 centimeters. So the scale is a bit wonky on this. So I'm going to say, okay, well, that should actually be 1.6 meters. Kaboof. And there we go. Now we are a little more manageable as far as scale goes. So what we need to do is I'm going to zoom back in, and I'm going to create a waypoint. So now what happened is now we adjusted the scale. Of course, the model is a much smaller. So we're zooming back in, and I'm going to go and I'm going to set our waypoint to be, I don't know, probably here. It's a nice scenic view. And I'll open up the waypoints, and I'll create a new one. And I'm going to call this Start Orbit. And I'm going to orbit now directly around the house. So I can pick the target point on the model, the house. There we go. So now we have this kind of cool drone flyover look. And I will just save that and save that waypoints and set it as a start waypoint. Okay, so now setup's all done. If we hit and reload the page, we start at this position, we're orbiting around where we want, everything looks cool. So now let's talk about the first person. So let's say we start here, but then we want to be able to click something and go kind of walk around here, right? So what we need to do is a few things, really. When you talk about first person, you're talking about walking around something, right? So you need to be able to know what a floor is and what a wall is. And by default, of course, you can just zip through all these models like there's nothing to them, right? So what we need to do is we need to turn on collision detection. So we need some way to tell the computer, hey, I'm running into a wall, or I'm walking up a hill, or something like that, okay? So now, if we go and we edit House on the Hill again, there's a collision detection area here, and we can turn that on, and nothing happened, or at least it doesn't seem like it did. However, these are visibility things down here where you can actually see what's happened. So what we can do is we can turn on the mesh, and it's detected. The mesh that we can collide with is this, right? So it creates a simplified version of our model. So it's not using every triangle to feel if we're colliding with it. It creates a simplified mesh of your model that works behind the scenes to do collision detection. Okay, so we can put this all back to the way it was. So as long as this is enabled, our person is not going to fall through the floor when we turn them on. All right, so let's go and let's set up. I think there was is there a path? Yeah, there's a little path here. So let's, oh, look at this. It's perfect. Okay, so we'll start here. So I'm going to open up a waypoints again. I'm going to create a waypoint, and we'll call this first person waypoint. And we're going to change the input control to first person. Now, oh, did you see that right away? We just kind of dropped onto the ground. And now, if I move around, you can see I can't go through this fence. Right? It's blocking me. Okay, so now it's using that collision detection. This car is funny. I also can't run into this car, but I can walk up the trail. Okay, so this is kind of cool. So we're going to leave this here. So it looks like we just got out of our car. We're going to the house on the hill. And we'll save this waypoint. I'll mention target point. The way the first person works is the target point is always pretty much where you are, right? Because if you notice, as we turn around, we're orbiting around ourselves. Okay, so target point is disabled, or not disabled, but it is set to where you are in first person control automatically. And we're going to save this. Great. And so now we can go in our first person mode and walk around, or we can go back and we can orbit around here. Now what's cool is that because these are waypoints, we can trigger them with actions. Okay, so I can create a hotspot on the house, for example, and that is a big old hotspot, and we can make it go a little bit out like that, and we can just leave it as that. We'll name the icon, I don't know, we'll just have a down arrow, and we're going to change this to be a label type because we don't want it to actually do anything. We're just going to attach an action to it, and that action is going to be go to waypoint. And what waypoint do we want? We want on click, go to the first person waypoint and go there immediately. Great. So we save that, we save that, we save that. And so now if I click this, poof, now we can walk around and we can go up to our house. Now, what we've done is we've also implemented a joystick system. So as I whip my camera around here, nothing happens. However, if I click and hold, I get a joystick, okay, which lets me navigate forward or backwards, or will rotate me left and right. This is also very, very viable on mobile because now you have full control of your character in a mobile view as well. Let me climb up here. It's too steep. Or will it? Can we make it? Can we make it? We can. All right. So now we can turn around. We've climbed the hill, and it gives you a whole new perspective because you're in first person. Whoa! Fell down the hill. Using the new first person controller. Okay. And so, of course, if you wanted, you could have an overlay which would send you back to the orbit view or whatever. I'll leave that up to you to set up. But this is the fundamentals of setting up a first-person controller and being able to walk around or navigate around your 3D model.